What's down, fam? It's your boy Slim South 504. Make sure y'all subscribe to Hooded Jude. You heard me? Let's go.
What's up, folks? This is Shano Barnes, and you already know it's shit more than a game, man. You also already know that it's NOLA versus all y'all. And you also know that it ain't YouTube if you ain't subscribed to my dog, Hoodie Jude. Come on, man, what are you waiting for? You already know. It's still Who Dat?
What up, family? This your boy DeRight, repping that Who Dat Nation all the way here in Florida. If it's YouTube, you gotta subscribe to my boy Hoodie Jude.
What's up, world? It's your boy Carlos Clayton. I'm the host of Uneducated Sports Talk. Subscribe to the big homie Hoodie Jude for everything New Orleans Saints. Who Dat?
Hey, this your boy, Dog 17, the host of the Keeping It Real Who Dat Sports Podcast. Just want to remind y'all, go ahead and subscribe to my homie Hoodie Juice channel. And like always, love.
What's good, guys? My name is Zach.
And I'm Nonfiction, and we are Real Fan Sports.
And you need to stop what you're doing right now. Hit that subscribe button and subscribe to your boy, Hoodie Juby.
Hoodie Juby.
What's good, Who Dat Nation? It's your boy Hoodie Juby, and we are back with another live podcast. And you can tell by the thumbnail, on today's episode, we're going to be talking about the training camp, man. We're going to be talking about all the recaps from all the training camps so far. So make sure you grab a drink, make sure you grab a snack, relax, sit back, man, and let's talk some Saints football.
Yeah. We in the zone, watch the Saints rise. Kellen Moore's game plan, yes, no surprise. Rashid Shaheed flying, catching that light. Chris Lawrence magic, making defenses right. Hoodie Jube on the screen, we hype it up. Saints Nation stand tall, never gonna give up. Saints on a mission, watch them take flight. In the dome under lights, it's a beautiful night. Championship dreams, we're ready to score. With Hoodie Jube and the crew, we're wanting more. Demario Davis bringing a tackle heat. Cam Jordan rushing, can't escape defeat. Tyrann Mathieu lurking, he's a defensive ghost. New era in New Orleans, yeah, we want it the most. Touchdowns on the board, the crowd goes wild. Feel the energy surge like a hyped up child. Saints on a mission, watch them take flight. In the dome under lights, it's a beautiful night. Championship dreams, we're ready to score. With Hoodie Jube and the crew, we're wanting more. So here's to the Saints, let the victory blow. Red Coast, we pop with the San Diego.
What's good, Who Dat Nation? It's your boy Hoodie Juby, and we are back with another live podcast. And for those who don't know, y'all will know, there's no YouTube without your boy Hoodie Jube, y'all. I hope everybody's having a great night, because your boy Hoodie Jube is having a good time, and also he is ready to talk someday on Saints football with everybody. But you always know, man, we don't have the show, and we don't start it unless we bring on my co-host. Y'all know who it is. Y'all might know him by the Soul Man. And you might know him just because he is just a man on Twitter. What if he's covering, Saints, LSU, Tulane, Louisiana Tech, you know what? How about I just say Louisiana sports? That makes it even easier. No matter what he's covering, man. Y'all know who it is. Come on, man. It's my guy, Logan. What up, man?
What's up, buddy? Thanks for having me on, as usual.
Oh yeah, no problem, man. You know, you always welcome on, and it ain't no damn show without Logan on it. Remember, like they know YouTube without Hoodie Jew. We're gonna have to make a slogan for you. We gotta make you one for sure. But let's give a shout out, man, before we do anything to everybody that's in here so far. Look at that, Chris Olave, man. See, look, Chris Olave loves Hoodie Jew. He's even in the chat tonight. What's up, Chris Olave? Shout out to you. We got my boy King Nepp in the building. Who that to you? We got my woman Brooke in the building. Who that to you? We also got Coach Rudy in the building. Who that to you? We got Jerry the O freaking G. Who that to you? We got Bruce Saints in the building as well. Who that to you? And what else we got in this thing? My boy Hot Boy Nola watching from the Twitter side. Who that to you, my brother? Shout out to all of y'all. So make sure y'all hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you are new. And also thank y'all for watching, whether you're watching from Twitter/X or you're watching from the YouTube side. Alright, so shout out to everybody. But let's get it started, man. We're going to start this off by listening to what Mr. Kellen Moore had to say today, you know, after day 7 of training camp. And then also, after we're done listening to him, you know, we're going to kind of just summary up of what he said. And then also, shout out to my guy Ross Jackson, to where he actually sent me the link to his stuff where he goes to practice and he puts all his stuff on his site, so we can go literally scroll down layer by layer and describe everything that happened. And the cool thing about it too, that he has their stats too from day 1 through day 7 so far, all added up to where we don't have to look back on it. You know, we can literally just go down the line. So shout out to Ross Jackson. And by the way, y'all, Mr. Ross Jackson said he might be coming on with us Friday. So it should be me, Logan, and Ross Jackson Friday night, covering all training camps and all that. I'm going to have a bunch of questions. I know Logan got some questions for him as well, you know, since Ross Jackson is in the building at Saints, you know, training camp. But, you know, thanks y'all who's in here. But let's get to it. Let's hear what Mr. Kellen Moore has to say.
Couple just roster things. Jonathan Mendoza we signed today, offensive lineman from Louisville, so he's with us now, fired up for that. And then we had a couple guys just like go down during practice, nothing overly concerning there, but Welsh, Ridgeway, and then Jawan. So those guys, but you know, we'll take care of business. I'll communicate tomorrow if there's anything that is going to last beyond a day or so.
Jake Hainer got a lot of run today. What did you like about his day?
Yeah, I thought Jake did a really good job, communicated at a really high level, made some big time throws, and yeah, I thought it was a good day for, I think in general, it was a good day for those quarterbacks.
How would you describe his personality? Like, you know, like he called himself an underdog when he got behind the mic. So how would you describe, you know?
Yeah, I think Jake's got that kind of warrior mentality of he's going to fight and battle and do everything he can. He's got confidence in himself, and you know, I think the counter of that is he communicates at a really high level with his teammates and with the coaches, and so he's done a nice job.
If those tight ends do like miss a couple days, how does that affect your roster manager? Just give them the numbers that are.
Yeah, certainly something we'll just have to keep an eye on. If we have to make any adjustments, we will. And sometimes if you just have to adjust some scripts, just to, you know, if you don't have the bodies there, you just, you know, play in a little bit of different personnel group, and we'll figure that out.
So Juwan got hurt during practice. It wasn't something like that was lingering over from yesterday.
No. Not going to go bowling apparently anymore.
I think he walked around.
I thought about you.
Now with the pads for a couple of days, now that he's had on for a couple of days, what have you thought of how Trevor Payne has progressed and played? So.
Yeah, I think for all these guys, that's a huge day. You have your first day of pads, and there's some working through in that situation. And so today, I think was an excellent job by both sides of the football, just being really, really physical. Trevor's done an excellent job. You know, anytime you're in a new position, it's going to take a few days, take a little bit just to get settled in there when you get to the real thing.
So far, have you liked, I guess, his aggressiveness?
Yeah.
And like how he's played that position?
Yeah, absolutely. Trevor's done an excellent job. He's done an excellent job in that position. Again, each and every day, you can just see the growth.
You saw the importance of the operation and the mental side. Getting just in 2 minutes today. What'd you like from both of the quarterbacks relevant to the operation?
Yeah, I thought it was really good work for both sides of the football. Even in special teams, we got a couple opportunities as a result of the end of the drive. The communication was really good. I think, you know, defense defense did a nice job. They had a couple sacks in there, which are going to be critical plays that probably stop drives in those situations in the real deal. And so, his first day, really good operation.
Does it kind of help you to have those, like to be dealing with sacks right now as a part of, as opposed to kind of a flawless operation?
Yeah, those are going to happen. I think, important from a defense perspective. Those have huge impacts on 2-minute drives. That certainly is going to have a high likelihood of stalling someone out. And so, offensively, got to clean it up from a protection standpoint, and we'll just keep getting better.
Calling that run there, is that like, situations, that's sometimes where you have like an advantage calling something like that?
Yeah, depending on the circumstance. Yeah, depending on your timeouts, time, and the situation of the game. Yeah, there's always opportunities to run when you can.
What do you think about the long ball that Spencer threw that Quincy Riley intercepted near the goal line? Your take on that whole play?
Yeah, it'll be awesome to watch on film and just have those conversations with the players just to make sure we're good. I thought it was a good, initially there was certainly we gave ourselves a chance. It was a good ball. Unfortunately, I think Quincy made a phenomenal play going and attacking the football, similar to Julian a couple days ago when he was in here attacking the football. I think our DBs are doing a great job of locating the football, and we got to clean it up on the offense side to see it and give ourselves a chance.
Is that a competition for that spot opposite like Kool-Aid when you guys are in the sub position?
Yeah, certainly we're rotating those guys. There's a lot of opportunities for a lot of guys. We feel like that group's competing at a really, really high level, and Lonte can obviously go outside and inside, and he kind of plays that game. But all those other corners are getting great reps.
How do you go about as far as calling plays like with RPOs? Really, the quarterback, a couple of quarterbacks had nice runs that have been plus 12, plus 15. Is that depending on the game plan and the opponent when you're calling those type plays? And I know you utilize that a lot with Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, so today's installation certainly had some QB run game, as everyone saw. It's available to us. Obviously, there's a time and place for it based off the circumstance of the game and the team you're playing. Obviously, you don't want your quarterback to be getting hit a ton in those situations because you're creating more physical opportunities for him. But when the opportunity presents itself, when we feel like it can be a clean look for him, he can protect himself in a positive way, we'll continue to utilize that.
Do you learn that a productive player, but hasn't had maybe those interceptions or forced fumbles, or could the system maybe up that just the statistical production?
It's a great question. Potentially from a pressure game, steal a couple more sacks. DeMario does such a good job in the rush game. I think there is an opportunity for Pete to be kind of the counter move to that. But Pete's done a phenomenal job. He's doing excellent.
That's 2 interceptions in camp for Quincy Riley. Obviously, that's a good thing from your end. What did you like about him?
Yeah, he finds the ball and he attacks the football. I think that's one thing that we saw in film coming into the draft process. He's a ball guy. That's what you need on the back end. Mistakes are going to happen when we create turnovers. Those impact games.
What's the difference between the developmental period and just like practice?
Yeah, it's just at the end. It allows our veteran players to kind of transition into their end of practice work at the end of practice, and so it allows those guys to go, and the young guys can kind of steal reps, focus on them. We can maybe control the pace a little bit, have a little bit more teaching within that, where the position coaches can kind of steal some more communication.
How does that quarterback get developmental reps today?
It's whoever the third guy is for that day, and we just continue to rotate him.
Saw Kool-Aid get a nice pass breakup on the ball too.
Yeah.
How do you think he's been growing throughout camp?
Yeah, this has been a big time camp for Kool-Aid. He's played phenomenal. His confidence every single day. He's just making a ton of plays, and you can just see his ability to transition in the coverage game is really, really good.
He's obviously somebody who, he was dealing with an injury coming into camp last year, and it was kind of buried on the depth chart a little bit. When you were doing the review of the team, you took this job. What did you think of the way you progressed even last year?
Yeah, certainly felt like he was going to be, like we've always talked about, that second year big jump. Sometimes that first year, obviously for him, dealing with some injuries, slows you down a little bit that first year. This was going to be a second year jump. We felt really confident that was going to be. When I was in Philly, we thought really, really highly of him, and certainly Brandon did, during the draft process the year before as well when he was in San Francisco. So we felt like we were going to create a really, really good opportunity there for him.
You've praised him since he got here, but Julian Blackmon feels like he's kind of becoming a mainstay in some of these first team reps. Just what kind of vaulted him to that place for you?
Yeah, again, there'll be other guys that get opportunities, but he's been very consistent. He communicates at a really high level. He just has a great feel for this game.
With the injuries at tight end, I don't know if Matt visited the other day. Anything?
Yeah, no.
And then you guys also worked out a few punters yesterday. Was that just in case?
Yeah, through this process, you're always trying to work multiple guys out just to put yourself in position if something were to happen. If you need to make a transition, or we'll see what happens. So we had a couple punters, a couple offensive linemen, a couple linebackers. So we're always kind of doing that stuff.
How much do you factor in familiarity when it comes to things like that? I mean, Mendoza having a year with Tyler Shuck, Mason Tipton before that with Tyler Shuck last year. Do you factor that in at all?
Not too much in those situations. It's certainly a nice bonus. Just I think sometimes what helps is whether a coach, a personnel, a player, and you just had experience with a certain player, you can just lean on that that personal experience to kind of lean on, just understand the person. We're bringing in the right people.
What do you think about Jack Stoll and how he's been doing so far?
Yeah, Jack's done a nice job. Jack's hopped in here. He's played this role of kind of this blocking tight end for a few years when I was up in Philly, and he did a phenomenal job there. And certainly he's got more pass game availability, and so he's been able to show some of that through this training camp, and he's done a nice job.
How much do you think that'll give Jawan more free run having a blocking tight end there when you may run two tight end sets and having Stoll being able to stay in there and block?
There's always value. Multiple tight end formations are really challenging for defense. They can be put in conflict, especially when you have a guy like Jawan who can play a number of different positions with his background as a receiver. And so, Jack and a number of these guys are doing a nice job. We're going to need a couple of these guys to come up and step up during the season.
You guys don't have a traditional fullback that you currently use. I need to, but is Stoll have a guy who could do that?
We have a couple of those tight ends. Obviously, we envision, if they could line up in the backfield, they could probably, handle that.
So Logan, what is your thoughts, man, on what he had to say, on all these different questions? So, sounds like, number one, Quincy Riley's been doing really good in training camp. Already got 2 picks, and he seems like one of those ball hawks kind of guy that are just, always, attacking the ball, which is something that, we do need. We need somebody that can attack the ball, get the interceptions and all that. So, what is your thoughts so far on Quincy Riley, and what do you think about the other corners, that we're going to have into place? Because it sounds like he said that Kellen Moore said you can put Alante inside or outside, he basically said. So that's a pretty good thing to hear that he can play both for him.
So just going off of footage, because I'm not out there like the rest of my former colleagues are. I'm not out there to see with my own eyes. But just going off of the footage that I've seen on social media, Quincy Riley looks like he's going to be a steal, but it's early. We're still talking about training camp and practice here, not preseason or the games. But loved everything that I've seen from Quincy Riley. He's also kind of like on the older side. He's, I think, 25, I believe, 24. Yeah, everything I've seen from Quincy Riley is looking really good. And the secondary in general is looking very underrated. You have a lot of young guys all across the board, kind of. And it would not surprise me if, your 2 starting corners weren't Kool-Aid and Quincy Riley. And then you have Alante Taylor in that slot position, where I honestly think he's better in the slot than he is on the outside or as a boundary corner. I honestly think you can play him in the box and just blitz him off the edge like he was doing last year, which I feel like he's really good, best suited for. I also think he would probably be best played at safety eventually, but he just seems to refuse to want to do that, but I understand it. But all in all, going off of what Kellen said, it sounds like, the team's looking good. They're not where they want to be at yet, but each day is an improvement more over the other. There's going to be struggles on both sides of the ball, of course, but, everyone's learning a new offense. Everyone's learning a new defense. It's going to take time, and you probably won't see it really fully come together until probably about the 3rd preseason game, because we all know preseason is very vanilla. You don't show your hand at all in preseason. Those who do, they get figured out quickly. So, but all in all, I thought it was typical coach speak from what Kellen was saying, but I think you're going to see a lot of things get ramped up here very soon, because preseason's on the horizon.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And what was your thoughts on what Kellen Moore said about Trevor Penning, moving over to that left guard spot? And like they said, it seems like every day he's just getting better and better. And he's like, it's a little hard, to learn a newer position already. But, every single day it just seems like he's getting better. So what do you think about Trevor Penning so far, left guard?
So they actually interviewed Penning, I believe, the day after practice, and I caught a little bit of it. when I got home this evening, and it seems like Trevor Prince says this is the most confident he's been during his entire time in the NFL. So that should tell you that Kellen Moore is doing a great job at coaching him and doing a great job of just developing him. Because I don't think Trevor Penning would have did well transition into left guard if Dennis Allen and the other coaches were still the coaches. So I honestly think Trevor Penning is going to really have a great year as the starting left guard. And I know I was very much against it at first because 3 positions in 3 years. I just don't understand that. But in this case, he says he's more confident. He says it suits him better for what his strengths are. So I'm all for it because if Trevor Penning's doing well and he says that he's confident and he says that it fits him his attributes the best, then I'm all for it. And it looks like the one thing on offense that's the strongest point so far seems to be the offensive line, and we weren't saying that before April at all. So it looks like things are kind of trending upward for the offensive line. It's just we say this for all the New Orleans teams, it seems like, or even Louisiana teams in general, it's all about health. So if this offensive line can stay healthy all across the board from Banks all the way to Fuaga, then you're looking at a really good, not top 5, top 10, maybe a top 15 offensive line. Maybe you could have the 13th best offensive line, and that's pretty darn good after just a year of having Brendan Nugent as your offensive line coach.
Oh, for sure. And then, I think the offensive line would have been a little bit better, last year as well, if we wouldn't have some of the injuries, But, once you start in center, your big Pro Bowler in the center, fell down. That's when the whole season just started to fall apart. Nobody was just coming on through. It was like, here you go. You don't need nothing to come in here. You just walk them. Come on, right on through. But what do you want? I wanted to know this. What was your thoughts on Kellen Moore comment right at the beginning when they started questioning him about the quarterback position? Jake Hayner at QB1 today and Rattler, and then Tyler Sucks. Now I did want to know your thoughts on this too, and I asked Ross Jackson. He said it's just us as fans thinking this right now. There's nothing that goes into play with it, according to the people wandering around. But supposedly, if you looked at it, this Rattler never had QB3 position yet. He's always been quarterback 1 or quarterback 2. Tyler Sucks has been at quarterback 3, and I asked Ross Jackson, I said, is that something to say that's saying Rattler's better and they don't want him to play in third at all, or what is this? And he said it's just us thinking that it's just the pattern they have, the rotation they got on how they doing first. And I'm like, okay. So that's just something that I was curious to what was your thoughts on that when you seen that Rattler's not even getting reps with the third team?
So, Rattler not getting any reps with the third team, it makes sense because Rattler shouldn't be getting reps with the threes at all because he got to start 6 games last year, even though he lost all 6 of them, which were not his fault at all, for the most part. But it's just, I think, I understand Kellen Moore wants to be fair in this quarterback competition, but if you ask me, the quarterback competition is Spencer Rattler, your 5th round pick from last year, and Tyler Shuck, pick 40, round 2 this year, highest drafted quarterback since Archie Manning in 1971. That's your quarterback competition right there. I get it, you want to play fair, but Hayner should not be taking away reps from Spencer or Tyler. I get it. Like I said, you want to be fair, but we all know life isn't fair. But I feel like it's taking away valuable development and time away from, and reps away from Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shuck. Because we all know Jake Hayner is not going to be the starting quarterback for the New Orleans Saints, and it would shock me if, in preseason that Hunter Deckers does not, out duel him, in maybe game 3, because Hunter Deckers is quarterback 4 right now, and he's barely getting any reps. So it's going to take Hunter Deckers a lot of good play to take that quarterback 3 spot. But I think he can. But I just don't see why you're taking away reps away from Tyler Shuck. It just makes no sense to me because I know deep down inside that Kellen Moore is not telling himself, "Oh, I think Jake Hayner is a great quarterback. I think he could be a starter." we all know the truth. Jake Hayner is not going to be the starting quarterback for the Saints. You're taking away valuable reps away from Spencer and Tyler. Tyler's not getting any valuable reps with the threes or any great development with the threes. Now, don't get me wrong; those are NFL players, but I just don't think it's a smart move at all.
I mean, to be honest, what I've been hearing so far, it sounds like Rattler has been really, killing it. One or two, maybe 3 picks, I think, so far in camp. But other than that, he's been killing it with the touchdown passes, been really accurate. It's just been really good on the most part. So, I mean, do you still feel like 80-90% that Tyler Sucks is still going to be your starting quarterback? Or is it changing a little bit now because the way Rattler's been playing in camp?
So, it actually has changed. I mean, I know I was 90-10 just the other day. Like, this is Tyler Shuck's job to lose. But, Spencer Rattler has, I don't want to say surprised me because I know the guy's got talent. I really do. But I'm leaning towards Spencer Rattler being the starting quarterback as it stands. I mean, it feels like it's going to be a battle till the bitter end. I know people hate it when I say that, but it's going to be a battle between those two until the very last preseason game, I feel. But if you had to ask me right now who's the starting quarterback going to be week 1, July 30th, 2025, I would say Spencer Rattler, and I'm more 60-40 on it. I'm 60% Spencer, 40% on Tyler Shuck. It's fluctuating a little bit.
And it changed a lot from 90-10, Tyler Shucks, and now you got Rattler,
Because Spencer's looking really... They're both looking really good. They're both showing mobility from the footage I've seen. They're both... They're throwing some interceptions, don't get me wrong, but it's fine. You're going to see your quarterbacks do that in camp, but either way, it's a win-win for us. If Spencer goes out there, cool. If Tyler goes out there, cool. But as it stands, I would have to, if I had to make a decision today, as of today, it would probably be with Spencer Rattler, your quarterback 1. But like I said, it would not surprise me if it took until the last preseason game to decide it.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, if I'm the Saints anyway, I mean, sometimes people draft quarterbacks in the first round, second round, third rounds, and they wind up sitting the first season, or they wind up sitting till somebody gets hurt and then they come in, So with Rattler, like we said, playing good right now in training camp, and if it's hard to decide whether you want to start Rattler or you want to start Tyler Sucks, what I'm doing. If I'm the coach, I'm just going to start Rattler because it's the same, I felt like Rattler's been better throughout camp. And second of all, he didn't really get a great opportunity last year. He had to, play with a lot of practice squad players and all of that. He didn't really have a healthy squad. So I want to see what he looks like with the healthy squad. And so far in camp, he's been really good. And if you really want to think about it, Mason Tipton has the best connection with Rattler so far, it seems like. It just seems like him and Rattler just have a connection. And that's who we're going to be talking about next right now. What is your thoughts, man, so far on Mason Tipton? Is it going to be every year where he's just a training camp guy and it just doesn't produce? Or you think this year looks like it could be the year maybe because he got a guy like Kellen Moore?
Anything is possible because, like you mentioned, we do have Kellen Moore as our coach now, and it seems like the offense that he runs is very, player friendly. But we've seen these training camp MVPs for years and years and years. Because I can remember as far back thinking, dang, Emmanuel Butler's really going to be the next one for us. I truly think Emmanuel Butler's going to eventually be like a franchise wide receiver. And Emmanuel Butler got cut, and I think he's still trying to make UFL teams, to my knowledge. But with Mason Tipton, it seems like he's doing well in camp again this year, but he's probably got to climb the depth chart because who's he going to take reps from in the games? I'm sure you could throw him out in specific, packages, but I don't see where he's going to get reps at in the game over, Chris Olave, Shaheed, Cooks,
Bub Means.
I don't know why I was drawing a blank. Bub Memes, who I heard is having an incredible camp, by the way, too.
Yeah.
Then you have, people like this is Dolph's guy, like Moochie Dixon. You got Donovan Peoples-Jones, Cedric Wilson.
I think Dixon can make the team, but as a special team guy, like return, kind of like how Shaheed did. Came undrafted and came in. Started as a return guy. Then they realized how fast this dude were, and then they put him into the receiver. And then ever since Shaheed's taken off, I think Dixon's gonna be the same way. He's gonna be that guy that's gonna be your. If I'm the Saints, I'm taking him and using him and probably Velvis Jones Jr. or somebody like that as my return guys to make sure that Rasheed Shaheed is 100% just focusing on at receiver. Because don't get me wrong, Rasheed Shaheed is a good return man, but when he's taking hits from the returns and taking hits at receiver, it's going to add up and form something. So I'd rather him just be on offense only and let a younger guy like Dixon or somebody like that that's got the speed, just like Rasheed Shaheed, and let him do some return. But to be honest with you, with these younger guys like Dixon and Bub Means and stuff like that, and Mason Tempton, having a great, camp again, what are you going to do with a guy like Cedric Wilson, a veteran? Is he going to make the roster still or not? Or is he going to be one of the surprising cuts, because there's only going to be so many spots, and you already know the first three's already basically taken from Rasheed Shaheed, Chris Olave, and Brandon Cooks, and I think Bub Means going to make the roster too, but it seems like he hasn't been making a big impact in camp, yet. But that's the real question. Like, how many receivers do you keep this year, and who's making the roster? Because there's a lot of people at the receiver spot that I like that are making, plays at camp, but they're not making enough plays, like Mason Tempton. But hopefully this ain't just a one-hit wonder again like last year where it was just good in training camp and then came into the regular season and just wasn't that dude. I'm hoping it's not like that. But let's move on to the next topic that they were talking about, Jack Stoll coming over. I know he dropped a few passes and he ain't the best pass catcher, but he is a really good, block runner. I mean, running. Oh, is it block runner? Yeah. Really good at run blocking. If I meant to say, I don't want to say block running, run blocking. But what he said, what Kellen Moore said about Jack, how he said those few years with him at Philadelphia. He just came on the field, kept producing, and kept, doing really good at the run blocking. But it looks like with some of the highlights and all that, he just not holding on to the ball, not catching it well. So hopefully he can get that fixed. But it's good to have another guy, tight end now that we know that we can trust, for run games. But speaking of tight ends, Juwan Johnson went down with an injury today. But we caught a break. It's not going to be serious. He might miss like 2 days. They said of 2 days of training camp. So that's good to hear that he didn't suffer nothing serious after just getting him a contract, and after him being the main factor for the tight end room that Kellen Moore wanted to use in this offense. So what is your thoughts on Juwan Johnson being the main focus, and what do you think of a guy like Jack Stoll coming from the Eagles and playing for Mr. Kellen Moore?
So, Juwan Johnson's injury, we did kind of had some good luck with that. I mean, he's only going to be out for a few days. He'll probably be back next week, maybe Monday or Tuesday. But it's a groin. You can't be too careful with those. But as for Jack Stoll, run blocking tight ends, you do need them. I mean, I honestly think we would be better off signing another tight end. Dallin Holker is no longer in the building. So, I think you should go out there and sound like a Noah Fant. Like, I know I was against it at first, but, Holker's gone, and you got Juwan getting kind of banged up a little bit, and then after that, you have, Jack Stoll. I mean, he makes smart football plays, but he's not going to, be your Jeremy Shockey, Billy Miller, or Jimmy Graham of a tight end for you. So he's going to be your one block. He's probably going to be your fullback. I mean, just listening to Kellen Moore, I mean, we don't have a true fullback. If anyone's going to be fullback, it would probably be Jack Stoll. I wouldn't put Taysom in fullback. I honestly wish Taysom would retire because he was all banged up. But Jack Stoll, he's one of those tight ends that you actually like having. It's like having another. He's a smart football player, and coming over from Philly, being with Kellen Moore, he knows what Kellen Moore's looking for. He knows what Kellen Moore expects, so he's going to probably be another voice in that tight end room, trying to tell everyone, hey, this is what Kellen wants, this is what Kellen's looking for. But But yeah, I think having someone like a Jack Stoll, he'll probably sneak onto the 53, because looking at the tight end room now, you have Seth Green, the tight end, not the voice actor, who just came up from the UFL, and then after that you got Michael Jacobson and Traylon Welsh, I believe. It's a mess right now. I mean, Foster Moreau's working off to the side, but it's a mess in the tight end room right now without Jawan, honestly. So I think the Saints would benefit from signing another actual tight end like a Noah Fant. I mean, he already visited. We all seen it, so just wait and see, I guess.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I wouldn't mind. Like, there's a few people that I think the Saints, should take a look at and sign. Number one, Asante Samuel. Sign him, soon as we feel like he's going to be healthy, get him. Also, I wouldn't mind Noah Fant. I wouldn't mind bringing him in. And to be honest, which I know everybody hates this when I say this, I know you're not really into him because he's getting older, but I still wouldn't mind bringing in a Kenan Allen, a big body receiver that's a veteran that knows, what he's doing. I wouldn't mind adding him to the roster just to make that wide receiver room even, stronger than what it is right now. So, but with that being said, the real question is now, the running back room. It sounds like Kendrick Miller said he feels the best that he ever felt since he got into the NFL. It seems like he's 100% healthy. I think he even said he even lost some weight, or did he gain weight? He said. Did he said he lose some weight? I think he said he might have. He's running like at 215 now. I think he said I think he was the one that said he's running between 215 and 218 now. So shout out to Kendrick Miller, man. Hopefully you can stay healthy, because at the end of the day, we know the talent is there, and if you stay on the field, you're definitely going to be, I feel like, that running back 2, and then that running back 3 is going to be for a toss-up, for a Clyde, or Cam Akers or a Devin Neal, that's going to be the toss-up between those, as long as Kendrick Miller stays healthy, right? But the other question I wanted to ask you was about, because I know Elliot was kind of talking about the quarterback room, and you was talking about, like, Jake Hanner, like, taking snaps, from them, It seems like he's trying to make it a fair quarterback, competition, just to see what he has. But at the end of the day, it just sounds like when people go back and you hear the report, it just sounds like they're saying it's Spencer Rattler who's killing it, and he can't. Tyler Sucks is still doing good, but you don't see like you hear a lot of people saying Jake Hanner, it's just Rattler or Sucks that they, praising. So I wanted to ask you, since preseason is right around the corner, do you expect them to be playing Hainer much longer with team reps number 1, or do they stop doing it maybe after this week because they're going to decide between Sucks and Rattler, since, preseason's next week?
So, I honestly think it's going to drag out, unfortunately, but I think when you get to preseason, they're going to try to divvy up the reps as best as they can. I mean, I'm sure the first quarter, I'm going to just this is just all predictions. Like, I have no intel on this now. This is just predictions. I would have to predict, like, Spencer Rattler gets the first start against I can't not remember who our first game is in preseason, but I would have to say, like, Spencer Rattler gets the first quarter, the entire first quarter, and maybe, like, the beginning of the second quarter, if they're, like, driving down the field, you don't take them out. But, and Tyler Shuck probably gets, like, the second and third, and then Jake probably gets the fourth. That's how I think that the reps are going to be divvied up. But it's all going to depend on who does well. Like, if both Spencer and Tyler do well, then you're probably going to see Spencer get a little bit of less reps, because then maybe Kelly's going to say, okay, maybe Spencer's our guy. Then Tyler gets, like, the first half of, like, preseason game 2. And then when preseason game 3 rolls around, that's basically, like, your study guide to the test. I mean, you're giving the answers. It's like a dress rehearsal. That's what I was looking for. A dress rehearsal. Game 3. Your starter, you should know your starter by game 3 of preseason, in my opinion. It shouldn't take until, like, the very first warm-up in September, week 1. So I think it's going to drag out a little bit, but maybe not as much as people think. Because, like I said, Kellen can say what he wants, and the coach speak that he's speaking to the media and the fans, but we all know that Jake Haener is not going to be the quarterback or the starting quarterback at any point for the New Orleans Saints this year. That's why I'm just wondering why the heck he's probably going to try to stash away Hunter Deckers on the practice squad. I could just see that coming, but yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about Haener getting reps right now. But the only thing that bothers me is he's taking away reps from Tyler Shuck, and he's not really taking away the reps from Spencer Rattler. But I honestly think it's just it's just nuts to give it Jake Haener starting reps at this point. We all, like I said, we all know.
Yeah, I mean, we all feel like we don't think Jake Haener's going to be the starter, you know. I think he will be a good, solid backup quarterback in the league, you know, just to come in if somebody comes out for like a game or two, you know, and just to play there. But I don't think he's going to be a starting quarterback in this league. But also, I wanted to ask you because I forgot the dude's name off of Twitter, but I think he works for one of the stations or whatever. I don't know if it's like WDSU or Fox 8 or whatever, but he took a picture of Julian Blackmon and basically said it's his job to lose with the way he's been locked in and since then. So what are your thoughts on that? Like him coming in a few days ago and already locking in, doing really great, and sounds like it's his job to lose now. And it looks good, and I guess it's good to hear that he's healthy. Because remember, some of us was worried about his injury. It sounds like he's healthy. Sounds like he's doing good in camp, and it sounds like he took right where Tyrann Mathieu left off and just took that spot. It's going to be hard to take the talent size of, Tyrann Mathieu. But like he said, he at least wants to come in here and be like a Justin Reed and Tyrann Mathieu with the veteran side and be able to help others and get better and, be one of the leaders in the locker room. And that's really good to hear from a young player like him.
So when it comes to Julian Blackmon, now no one will ever replace the voice that Tyrann had in that locker room. I mean, he's Tyrann Mathieu. He's going to be in Canton one day. I'll argue that with anybody. Tyrann Mathieu's, in my opinion, going to be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. But back to Julian Blackmon, he was a really good player for the Colts. It's just, injuries riddled him when he was over there. But when he was on the field for the Colts, he looked like a Pro Bowl or on the verge of being a Pro Bowl safety. It was just unbelievable that he was out there on the market for this long. So with him being healthy and him being on a 1 year kind of prove it deal, like, Chase Young type of deal, we got a bargain for him. And I honestly think he's going to do really, really well for the Saints this year. And I wouldn't be surprised if, they give him a contract extension towards the end of the year, or that they don't try to find a way to get a deal done quickly before free agency even starts, like they did with Chase Young. So I honestly think Julian Blackmon already starting at whether it's free or strong safety. I'm pretty sure it's probably going to be strong safety, and Justin Reed's going to play free. Either way, but it's a credit to Julian Blackmon just going out there, gritting it out, basically trying to prove to everyone that he's healthy and prove to people that he can still play ball. Because, he's young. He's 26 years old. He's had, I believe, 7 interceptions, 10 interceptions in the last 2 years combined when he was playing. I'm not saying he's a ball hog, but, he's a really darn good safety. So I really think the Saints got a bargain with Julian Blackmon. I know everyone wanted Justin Simmons, but I'm honestly happy that we got Julian Blackmon and Justin Reed back there because, like I said, Justin Reed is 28 years old. Julian Blackmon's 26. You can probably have Julian Blackmon for maybe 5 years. You can have maybe Justin Reed for maybe 5 years as well. Depending on health. So I honestly think I'm very happy that the Saints were able to go get a starting safety to replace Tyrann so quickly. Now, that doesn't mean we don't believe in someone like a Jordan Howden or a Jonas Sanker, but Julian Blackmon is just. I'm happy he's there because, like I said, you guys, like someone like a Jonas Sanker can learn from him and Justin Reed, and so can Jordan Howden. So I honestly think it was a good pickup. I'm liking it, and I'm excited to see what he can do for his team this year.
Oh, for sure. And it just seems like everybody's posting positive things about him, and it, like we said, it just sounds like it's his job to lose, right? Mm-hmm. But I wanted to ask you this question real quick, just because I always thought about this, because I used to do it on Madden a lot. I'm surprised these people that are like safeties, right? Like a Sanker, right? Who's a certified tackler. He can cover if you needed to because he's a safety as well. I'm surprised like NFL teams don't put people like him, like a safety, like a Sanker, or somebody like in a linebacker role. To help out with the coverage on running backs and stuff like that, and you can use him to blitz too, because he can get in the backfield and make sure he tackles the guy. What is your thoughts on that? On because the last person I remember seeing that was Isaiah Simmons. Remember, was a safety, wound up coming up and being a linebacker, and he's pretty good. So, if you're the Saints and you feel like Blackmon and Reed is your two good safeties, you know, could you use Sanker maybe in some rotational roles with like a linebacker to help with some coverage and, you know, maybe blitz him like you do with Alante?
So it's been done in the league for many years with the strong safety. I mean, Roman Harper was really good at being a box safety. There were times where, like, you had Malcolm Jenkins in the box. But then if you look across the league landscape from the last few years, and I'm probably dating myself saying this name, is like, people remember Mark Barron. He used to be really great at Alabama. Then when he got to the league, he was a strong safety, but they used him in the box a lot because he was kind of built like a linebacker. And then when you look at someone like an Isaiah Simmons, which has not lived up to the potential that he did at Clemson. When he was at Clemson, he was fantastic. But, you kind of can look at someone like a Shaq Thompson, because when Shaq Thompson was in college, he was a linebacker, safety, corner, because Shaq Thompson was an amazing athlete in college. But I can see them using maybe Sinker in the box and specific packages in this 3-4 multiple scheme, because most of the offenses that you're going to be going up against, they don't run the eye. They don't really run single back. It's all gun-based, spread forward centric offenses. So I can see a world where you can have more DBs out there than linebackers. So, but if you're asking me that if I wouldn't mind seeing Sinker be put in a box sometimes, because it helps with your coverage scheme, like whether you're running Tampa 2, cover 4, cover 3. I wouldn't mind it at all.
Okay. I was just curious, like, what your starts were, because I used to do that on, Madden. I used to take some of these safeties and put them at linebacker and let them cover because they were faster than the linebackers on the game. So I was just curious, like, if we ever see something like that, like we said, Simmons, went from a safety to a linebacker. So I wouldn't mind seeing something like that with a guy like Sanker or something, if we need a, extra linebacker out there to help coverage in this 3-4. So that's just something that I would do. But let me share my screen with y'all before we can start going over some of the training camp stuff from Ross Jackson. Let me know if y'all can see it. Is it good for y'all to see?
Good for me.
Alright. So he said day 7 of New Orleans Saints training camp was easily the most physical and exciting day yet, with bench throws, takeaways, 2-minute drills, and long field goal attempts. There was something for everyone in attendance as fans returned at the Tuesday close walkthrough. First one-on-one reps of camp. To kick it off, the Saints started with one-on-ones with wideouts and cornerbacks on one field, as well as tight ends, running backs, safeties, and linebackers on other, while quarterbacks, Jay Kane and Spencer Rattler, were with the receivers and corners. Rookie Tyler Suxton, Hunter Deckers were with the other group with the split field practice. I focused on wide receivers and corners. These were the biggest plays to come from the one-on-ones, which will not be factored into final drawing stats. Alright. I don't know why I skipped that. Hayner connected with Bud Means deep for a touchdown with Rico Payton in coverage. Means pulled off a stellar double move to create separation. Rattler connected with Rasheed Shaheed while Isaac Edom was blanket over him in coverage. It took hands to make the catch, but Shaheed caught it, y'all. Look at this. And this is it right here, the video. Now, I'm going to stop it right here. What is your thoughts on this catch right here? Because remember, a lot of people say, I don't think Rasheed can be that guy, just because he's not a physical receiver and he can't get those physical catches. Well, the dude was all over him. Holding him, and he still came back to the ball and got the ball even with the contact on him. So, what's your thought on that catch, Logan?
I think it was a good catch. But I mean, the one thing I can say, there's been a lot of debates all over social media. I've been saying I stay out of all debates these days because I do not like confrontation. But the one thing I can say is Rasheed Shaheed is great, and I love that he's on our team. He's a perfect wide receiver 2 for this team. But I don't think there's any debate that he's the wide receiver 2 and not wide receiver 1. Chris Olave is wide receiver 1. Regardless, I mean, like I said, I love Rasheed Shaheed. I mean, he's kind of reminds me of Azir Hakeem, who used to play for the Rams back in the day. But I think, Rasheed Shaheed getting more physical with his catches. That's fantastic to see that he's getting better and better each year. So I like the catch.
And And then they said Hayner found, Dixon down the sideline against Benham on a back shoulder throw. Excellent ball location. Rattler went deep to Kevin Austin Jr. with Jaden Price in coverage for another big completion. Dixon had a big series with another deep catch, this time on a post for a touchdown against Price. Rattler with the delivery. Biggest play of the day, Hayner found receiver Chris Olave down the right sideline for a deep pass off of a play action, which signaled a touchdown on the field, but would have been down short. Just showing the play for y'all. There we go. Also, AidMckinstry had a clutch pass breakup against Rasheed Shaheed down the left sideline doing 2-minute drills to force a 3rd and long. Spencer Rattler had a huge run to the left side off of a red zone, off of a zone read keeper and first team drills. This was part of the install on Wednesday design runs for the quarterbacks. Rattler with the bootleg play. Yeah, you hear the Saints fans hyping him up?
Oh, yeah.
They were hyping him up for sure. Doing 7-on-7s, rookie cornerback Quincy Riley. He got his second interception of camp, man. Second in the end zone against Rattler. Rattler found Mason Tipton deep during team drills for a diving touchdown. Tipton got behind a pair of defenders. If I'm not mistaken, I think this is the touchdown pass after he just drew a pick, and they said they loved the confidence of Rattler, even though he drew a pick and underdrew. The pass was underthrown, and that's why it was picked off, because it wasn't all the way to the end zone where he needed it to be. He went back deep again, and wound up getting a touchdown to Mason Tipton, and I think somebody posted that on Twitter as well. Velvis Jones Jr. had a 35-yard touchdown run to cap off a success for 2-minute drill to end practice. Somebody said, I think it was Nick Underhill that said an unexpected call, whatever, by Kellen Moore with 35 seconds left in the 2-minute drills. They do a draw with Velvis Jones Jr. who gets the touchdown. But then again, if I'm the other team, I'm not expecting a draw, right? With 35 seconds left.
No, not at all. That was a really good play call by Coach Kellen Moore, and I think you're going to see a lot of, I'm not saying crazy play call, but unexpected play calls from Kellen Moore, because, the man's going to want to win. So, but 13, I think you said it was 13 seconds left. That's very gutsy. I'll say that, because hypothetically, say you have no timeouts left and you do a draw play and you get stopped at the 1. What are you going to do? You're going to run out of time. So, but kudos to Kellen Moore for calling that play.
Oh, yeah. Today's focus, they said, the day spent a lot of time working on drive starters and included some 2-minute drills where specific focus included 1st and 10 and 2nd and middle from the 35, midfield passing concepts during 7-on-7s, downfield progressions, drive starters, and mid-range yards to go work, end of half 2-minute drills, quarterback run play installation. Also, says the quarterback battle. On Wednesday, Hayner worked with the first team, Rattler was with the second, and Suggs ran with the third. This is now the second time for Hayner to receive first team reps his time in padded practice. Rattler has still never seen third team reps. Suggs also received development reps following practice with the other young players. And then it says Hayner rep charting. First series of team drills, driver starters and mid-range second downs from the 35-yard line. 1st and 10, Hayner incomplete to Alvin Kamara on a screen pass off target. 2nd and 5, Kamara runs right, big run, the day's first chunk play. 1st and 10, Kendra Miller runs the middle, Davin Goldchalk on the short stop. 2nd and 5, Hayner completion to Chris Olave, Alante Taylor in coverage, play action, Big play down the right sideline. This was signaled a touchdown by the practice visit, but likely would have been stopped short. 7-on-7 midfield passing concepts. All snaps from the 50-yard line. 1st and 10. Hayner completion to Jack Stoll. 2nd and 7. Hayner incomplete to Camara Hydro down the left sideline. 3rd and 7. Hayner completion to Stoll. Edom in coverage. Edom punched the ball out after the catch, recovered by Olave. 4th and 4. Hayner complete to Deontay Pettis. Taylor in coverage, middle of field, 1st down. Second series of team drills. 1st and 10, 24-yard line. Hayner completion to Trayton Welch. Pete Warner, Demora Davis, closest defender, play action, roll out right. Brian Percy and Alante Taylor with pressure. 1st and 10, 34-yard line. Kamara runs right. 1st and 10, 44-yard line. Kamara runs middle for a big gain. 2nd and 8, 46-yard line. Hayner completion to Stoll. Chase Young in coverage. Stepped up in the pocket and delivered in the middle. Good pocket mobility by Hayner. 3rd and 8, 46-yard line. Hayner incomplete to the tight end from I don't want to mess up his name, but the tight end from UCLA. Get him in coverage. Dropped on the left side. Yeah, it was him that dropped the pass as well today. He didn't look that good and canceled for. 3rd series of team drills, y'all. 1st and 10, 41-yard line. Hayner completion to Stoll. Danny Stutman in coverage. Quick pass to the left side. 1st and 10, 49-yard line. Across midfield. Cam Akers runs right. Demora Davis on the stop. 1st and 10 plus 39-yard line. Hayner completion to Stoll. Stutzman in coverage. 2nd and 5 plus 35. Kamara runs middle. 3rd and 5 plus 35. Hayner completion to Kamara middle. Chase Young pressure. And then it says the 4th series of team drills. End of half 2-minute drills. 1:40. 1st and 10. 30-yard line. Hayner incomplete to Stoll in the left area. 1:33. 2nd and 10, 30-yard line. Hayner completion to Olave. Kool-Aid McKinstry in coverage short left area for a gain of 7. 1:02. 3rd and 3, 37-yard line. Hayner completion to Kamara, middle of the field for 4 yards, 1st down. 47 seconds left. 1st and 10. Hayner completion to Kamara, left sideline for 2 yards. Kamara gets out of bounds to stop the clock. 42 seconds. 2nd and 8, 43-yard line. Hayner incomplete to Saheed. McKinstry in coverage. McKinstry with the pass breakup on the left sideline deep. 35 seconds. Hayner completion to Austin. McKinstry in coverage. Left area for a gain of 12. 1st down on the strong catch by Austin. Gottschalk with pressure on the throw, but Hayner did well getting the ball out with the lineman bearing down. Timeout called. 28 seconds left. 1st and 10 plus 45. Penalty. False start. Trevor Penning out. Dylan in. 28 seconds still. 1st and 15 from the 50-yard line. Hayner incomplete to Brandon Cooks. Julian Blackman in coverage. Scramble by Hayner. Tried Cooks on the left sideline, but out of bounds. 22 seconds. 2nd and 15, 50-yard line. Hayner complete to Cedric Wilson. Taylor in coverage. Inbounds. Gain of 5. 6 seconds left. 3rd and 10. Hayner spikes it. Charlie Smith. 63-yard field goal attempt. No good. Wide right. Now, Rattler rep charting for the day. 1st series of team drills. 1st and 10, Velvet Jones, right, left. 2nd and 5, Hayner completion to Saheed. Jordan Howden, nearest defender, play action, right sideline for a big gain. I think he meant to put Rattler, if I had to guess, instead of Hayner. 1st and 10, Rattler completion to Austin. Rico Payton in coverage, play action, scramble, found Austin to the right side. 2nd and 5, Rattler zone, Reed, keeper, left run for a huge gain. 7-on-7, 2nd and 10, Rattler completion to Michael Jacobson, left side, catch and run. 2nd and 7, Rattler intercepted by Christian Riley, attended for means, which was the one that was all the way deep, that was a little underthrown, they said. 3rd and 7, Rattler completion to Matevio, you said? That's how you say his name? The dude from UCLA?
I think so.
Alright, DeMarco Jackson in coverage, left side, 1st down. 4th and 4, Rattler completion to Mason Tipton, Peyton in coverage, quick left, 1st down. 2nd series, 1st and 10, 36-yard line. Clyde, I'm going to just do Clyde runs middle, 1st and 10, 46-yard line. Rattler completions to Cooks, Peyton in coverage, right side, Chris Rupp with the pressure. 1st and 10 plus 44, Rattler completion to Tipton. Riley and Howden in coverage. Play action deep. Bomb down the left side. Diving touchdown reception by Tipton. 2nd and 8. Plus 42. Rattler completion to Devin Neal. Sewell in coverage. 3rd and 8. Plus 42. Rattler completion to Olave. Riley in coverage. Left side short. Isaiah Foskey with the pressure. A name with the pressure by the name of Isaiah Foskey. Okay, Foskey. Alright, 1:40. So this is the 2-minute drill. 1:40. 1st and 10. 30-yard line. Rattler completion to Miller on a swing pass to the right for 1 year. I think he meant 1 yard. 1:35. 2nd and 9. 31-yard line. Rattler completion to Pettis. Peyton in covers. Left sideline. Nice catch and run by Pettis, who slipped the wrap up. Payton and picked up several extra yards before getting out of bounds to stop the clock. Real heads up play by Pettis. 22 yards on the play, about 17 estimated after the catch. 1:27 on the clock left. 1st and 10 on the plus 47. Rattler completion to Miller for 2 yards. Foskey pressure again. Look at that. Foskey with another pressure. 1:22. 2nd and 8. Plus 45. Rattler sacked by Jackson. Loss of 5. 3rd and 13. 50-yard line. Rattler scrambled up the middle for another big run of 15 yards. First down. 30 seconds left. 1st and 10. Rattler incomplete to Neal over the middle. 28 seconds left. 2nd and 10. Jones run left for a 35-yard touchdown. That's the one where we talked about the HB draw. Where we had 28 seconds left and they ran an HB draw and he wound up getting a 35-yard touchdown. And Charlie Smith's extra point attempt was good. Now, Sucks. 1st and 10. Sucks his own read keeper up the middle. Ran into Hosey Iserum. No gain or maybe a short gain. 2nd and 5. Sucks completion to Saheed. Right in coverage for a tough catch on the left sideline by Saheed. 1st and 10. Sucks completion to Tipton. Bitterman in coverage. Right side. 2nd and 5. Sucks zone read keeper left. Just barely stepped out of bounds but could have been a massive play. Now we move on to the 7 and 7s. 1st and 10. Sucks completion to Jacobson. So well in coverage. Quick left after looking defenders off of coverage by moving eyes from running back in the flat to Jacobson. Impressive no look by Sucks. 2nd and 7. Sucks completion to Pettis. Right in coverage. Quick left. 3rd and 7. Sucks completion to Jones. So well in coverage. Short right area. 4th and 4. Sucks incomplete to Cedric Wilson. Right in coverage. Great pass break up by Wright on the slant. 3rd series. 1st and 10. 45 yards. Sucks completion to Cooks. Bitterman coverage. Right sideline catch by Cooks. 1st and 10 from the 46. Miller's run right. 1st and 10 plus 36. Sucks incomplete to Saheed. Slant. 2nd and 5 plus 31. Neal runs right. 3rd and 5 plus 31. Sucks incomplete to Saheed. Elliott Davidson in coverage. Out of bounds down the right sideline in the end zone. Now it says quarterback reps distributions, re-huddles, and penalties. Hayner 28, Rattler 21, Sucks 13. Passing attempts / completions, running totals. Hayner 14 for 20, 43. 14 for 20 today. Rattler was 12 and 14 for today, and Sucks was 6 for 9. Now, for the whole training camp so far, Hayner has 43 completions out of 63, 4 passing touchdowns, and 1 pick. Rattler's so far in camp 52 for 71, 7 passing touchdowns and 3 picks. And then Sucks is 30 for 50 with 3 passing touchdowns, but no picks yet in camp. They said Charlie Smith bounced back this week. Back with Smith back up for field goals on Wednesday. He was looking for a bounce back, and he started to catch it after going 5 for 10 over his first 2 opportunities. He went 4 for 5 on day 7, but then added a miss on a 63-yard attempt in first team, 2-minute drills, and a good extra point with the second team. Finished his day 5 for 7. Esther makes from extra point 39, 45, and 51. Misses from 49 and 63. Smith is now 10 for 17 through camp, while Blake Rupe holds strong at 14 and 15. James Burnett punts. The Saints might have tried out a pair of punters Tuesday, but there's no rush to move on from Burnett, nor delay from Matthew Hayball. Burnett's hang time was a little less impressive than normal, but that comes from pointing at midfield and focusing on directional work. And then he got out the little times that he hanged. The returners were Saheed, Pettis, Ugo Amade, and Donovan People-Jones. That's another person we got, dude, that we have on the roster receiver-wise that could make the team. People-Jones. The Gunners, Edom, Wilson, Timpton, Austin, Wright, Jones, Sinker, Benham, Riley, Dixon, and Chris Tyree was some people that was for the Gunners. Blackman holding first team reps. Head coach Kelly Moore said there will be a rotation at safety next to Justin Reed still, but it's notable that Blackman has quickly begun to command first team reps on the defense less than a week into his arrival. It's been an impressive for the 6-year safety, y'all. Attendance and additions. All non-puck players was present except for J.T. Gray, who is nursing a hamstring injury that has him designated as week to week. Tight end Foster Moreau made an appearance partway through the day, and several players left early. Tight end Juwan Johnson and Trayton Rose, as well as defensive tackle John Ridgway, left practice with injury. Moore said that nothing is glaring right now, but updates from further evaluation will be made available on Thursday. But then we later found out with some updates, later today that Juwan Johnson will just miss a few days with his injuries. Nothing's too serious, so that's a good plus. The Saints signed rookie offensive lineman Jonathan Mendoza. The versatile lineman has over 800 snaps in college at both tackle spots, more than 230 at right guard, and spent 2024 with Sucks at Louisville. Before that, he was a teammate of Tipton's at Yale, and I think a lot of people was posting about him today, saying he, I think they said he measures at 6'9", so a big boy, on that offensive line. So after all of that, it sounds like everybody's doing good. Sounds like we said Rattler is, still the one with the most touchdowns so far. A few picks, and all that. But other than that, he's looking good. Riley's looking good. Charlie Smith's trying to get back into it, to try to take Blake Grupe's spot. But we all know Blake Grupe ain't losing that spot anytime soon because Blake Grupe has been on a rampage so far, and it looks like this is going to be his job, right? But after everything that we, just read through, man, what are some plays that kind of caught your eyes? I know number one, if I had to pick 28 seconds left on a 2-minute drill and you're on a halfback draw and you still get the touchdown somehow, that's probably my number one play. I'm like, damn, how the heck you do that? What's a play that, that you was, that kind of caught your eyes when you was hearing them?
So, outside of, the halfback draw with 13 seconds left of DeVellis Jones, who I don't think is going to make the team, I think that's a pretty gutsy play call. You could probably see that in a game. Kellen running that with, Alvin Kamara, but I would not do it unless I'm very close to the goal line and you have at least a timeout left. That's what I would do, but other than that, it would probably be the Quincy Riley interception. It looks like Quincy Riley, like I said earlier, might be a steal. It looks like they got some very talented players over there in Louisville. So, and you pick up basically their teammate from last year, too, Mendoza, an offensive line, who is a big guy on the offensive line. So, looks like things are looking up in camp. But like I said, I always like to be cautiously optimistic and also just remain cautious in general because this is just practice and camp. You won't really know what the heck's going on until they're going up against another team in preseason. That's why I honestly miss when the NFL had 4 preseason games because 3 just seems like, not enough in my opinion. Maybe it is enough for some, but I just think I'm excited for preseason. I'm curious to see what's going to happen.
Because when you have 4 preseasons, you can think about it. Let's say you're having a quarterback battle between 2 players. One can start. The other one can start now. If you do 3 games, then who's going to start the other one? And then how does it fare to the other guy? Then I get another start, to see who can win it out, But, at the end of the day, it just sounds like everybody is just getting better and better day by day at camp, I wanted to ask you this question because I seen it posted the other day. What is your thoughts on Kellen Moore and I forgot the other dude's names, the guy's name, but where they preparing to keep these players healthier, like the way they prepare and everything, basically keeping everybody safe and healthier than what we normally would see.
Okay, so you're talking about the new strength coach, Ted Rath. He came over from Philly, but he also worked with Sean McVay, 2 winning franchises. He won a Super Bowl, I think, with the Rams one year. The next, he goes off to be on the Philly staff, winning a Super Bowl with them. It's all science. They're doing everything correct, and I honestly wish. I'm actually very happy that he's part of the Saints staff. Keeping everyone healthy, looking at scientific research, doing it all the right way. My only question is can the New Orleans Pelicans borrow one for this season as well? Can they pull double duty? But all in all, I absolutely loved it. Who knew that, like, people don't understand how much of a big deal, how much it matters to have a good strength and conditioning staff until you see all the injuries. So having someone like that can actually maybe help prevent injuries in the long run and then better condition your players, because, I mean, like I mentioned previously on one of your other shows, it's better for them to practice in Metairie in the 100-degree heat and the humidity to condition your body better. Because basically you're breathing in water down here in southern Louisiana. But when you're in California in the 60s and 70s degree weather, I don't think you're really getting that greatly conditioned because, like I said, you're in the beaming heat of Louisiana. And I honestly think if you can play down here and get conditioned down here, you're set for the entire season. And even further, you're not even getting conditioned for 16, 17 games. You're getting conditioned for, 20, 21 games, in my opinion, working out down here. And I think Ted Rath is doing a great job of keeping everyone healthy so far and doing all these training regimens and diets that he's got everyone on. I think he's going to be probably one of the more underrated staff pickups throughout this offseason that we've had.
I mean, it's good to have somebody like him, like you said, man. You definitely want to stay healthy, and that's probably how the Rams and the Eagles won a Super Bowl, right? Being able to stay healthy most of the season, there ain't too many injuries, and if somebody did get injured, they wasn't out for long. They were back on the field, So we definitely need somebody like him, to help keep our players, basically healthy. But the one thing I do want to say is if you can, come in here and just help prevent half of what happened last year, like half of the injuries, oh yeah, the Saints going to look a lot better this season than what we did last year. Because if we fought all those injuries with all the terrible coaching and we only got 5 wins, what you think we can do with a healthier roster that stays healthy for most of the season and, has a roster that wants to play? Last year, nobody wanted to play for Dennis Allen. Nobody was playing and trying. They actually going out having fun playing paintball, bowling. They doing all kind of stuff as a team together, and that's what you really love to see. So to see somebody healthy like that, and like you said, a good coach like that to come in here and help you stay healthy, help you get healthier, and all of that, that's just gonna be that's gonna be a plus for us. And not only that, it's gonna be a plus for our run game, especially for a guy like Alvin Kamara who takes a lot of loads. And then guess what? That's gonna happen. That's gonna help Kendre Miller hopefully stay healthy for the first time in a while, right? And he can take some load off of Kamara. And you saw last year, and when he was on the field, he made an impact. He was always picking up some good plays. So if they can keep him healthy, that would be an amazing thing for our running game. Because then you'll have a 1-2 punch with Kamara and Kendre Miller. But I'm trying to think of if there's anything else that we might be missing. Because we talked about Julian Blackman. We talked about the quarterback competition. We talked about some of the kickers. We talked about some receivers. Oh, speaking of receivers, Olave. Did you see what he did? He got in, gained some more weight, for when he takes hits. And number 2, this man's wearing the Guardian caps. He finally wearing the Guardian caps, bro. He's finally trying to make sure he prevents himself from that next concussion. And I'm glad to see that out there, So I know some people think it's not a cool thing, because it's a Guardian cap. But guess what? If it prevents you from getting a concussion, why not wear it? It's like what is it? Is it kind of like a pillow cushion, kind of to where when you hit the ground, it's not as hard?
So I've never personally worn one. The Guardian cap, I don't think came out until basically it was like my last year playing football in my life was in 2021, unless they had it and no one used them. But it's basically a cushion for your helmet. It's basically more added pad. It's like a huge pad, because if you look at it, you see a lot of the only way I can describe it is like a honeycomb pattern, but it's all cushion and pads. So it helps alleviate and take away some of the impact. So now I personally wouldn't have worn one because that's just who I was. There was a lot of padding that I didn't wear when I was playing, but that's just me. But I'm honestly happy that someone like Chris Olave, who has been susceptible to concussions,
now I know why. Now I know why. No, I said now I know why. When I hang with you at church and all other places, you like. Because you didn't wear them pads, man. You be sure your body's hurting from all of them not wearing the pads, huh?
Well, it's also doing a labor job working with my father for right now instead of being.
Okay, my bad. I thought it was the football.
Well, that too. I can't do back squat anymore because my knees won't allow me to. But that's the whole other thing. But yeah. If anyone in the league needs to wear a Guardian cap, it's Chris Olave and Tua. I'm not even gonna. There's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. So now, will Chris Olave actually wear one in an actual game? That's to be determined. I'm leaning towards that he probably won't wear one in a game, but if it were up to me, and I was Chris Olave, which I'm not, I would wear a Guardian cap if I was him because he's been a target for concussions. That when you're a wide receiver one, I mean, they say there's no bounties, but there is. You're going to probably target someone who is more susceptible to concussions. It's not cool to do that, but it's football, and someone's always targeted out there. Go knock him out, and that's going to make our defense feel a lot better. Now, I'd feel a lot better if Chris Olave did wear one in the games, but that's to be determined. I honestly wish Tua would wear one too because I think he's one concussion away from being paralyzed. I mean, it's scary to see. So,
especially Tua.
Yeah, so I honestly am, like I said, I'm happy to see Chris Olave wearing the Guardian cap finally. But in practice, it's controlled, so you're not you're not going out there trying to take your teammate's head off. But in a game, I hope he wears one. But if he doesn't, then that's on him. He's a grown man, millionaire, can make his own decision. So.
Yeah, he can make his own decisions. He's a grown man, but at the end of the day, your health is the most thing because it's all about your health. Because if you don't take care of your health, guess what? You're not gonna be on the field to make your money. You're not gonna be getting paid. You're not gonna be able to go out there and prove it. And speaking of receivers adding weight, what do you think about Rashid Shaheed adding some weight on this season too, and keeping his speed as well?
So that's always a good thing because when you're adding weight and muscle to your body, it's hard to maintain your speed because I can actually vouch for that because, I mean, someone like Rashid Shaheed, I mean, he runs like a 4.4, 4.3. Looks like he runs a 4.3 in the game. So if you're able to add like maybe 15, 20 pounds, like hypothetically say that he did that. I don't know the number that he put on, but it's great because you're able to take on more hits, and it just tells me that Rashid Shaheed's expecting to be more of a wide receiver than a return guy. So, like a true wide receiver too. So, seeing Rashid Shaheed him and Olave both adding weight actually is a smart thing to do. It helps you take on a lot more blows and hits when you're in the games because, I mean, you got someone like Fred Warner hitting you or, I'm trying to think of a safety. It's not coming to mind right now. I'm drawing a blank. Man, it was a long day. But yeah, anyway, all in all, he's going to be able to take on a lot more hits in the game, in my opinion. And him maintaining that speed, this goes to show you that they really do have the best of the best dietitians and workout regimens for those guys. So hats off to him.
Oh, yeah. I guess to ask you, is there anything else you can think of that we need to cover from training camp that I just maybe not have covered?
I think you hit on everything, Hoodie. The only thing I would say is that maybe we leave a little bit more mystery for when our good friend Russ Jackson comes on and we can pick his brain and interview him.
Oh, yeah. Trust me. I already got a bunch of questions for him for sure. My question to him is going to be, number one, I already asked you this question in a text message, but for real, why is Riley not getting no reps at third? Like, why is it just first and second? Like, is there something fishy about this or what? Like, second of all, I'm going to ask him, hey, out of all the quarterbacks, who you feel like is got the edge to get the starting quarterback position so far? Like, who's winning in camp? Because so far with the way people are posting on Twitter and the way the videos are popping out, looks like Riley is the guy so far. And like I told everybody, I know we not wasted, but I know you spent a second round pick on a guy like Tyler Sucks, but guess what? There's first round picks that get drafted all the time that gets the shit behind other people and wait, and that's what made some of these players great. Just think of Patrick Mahomes. He didn't start right away when he came in the league when he got drafted. No, he waited a little bit, and once somebody got hurt, that's when he came in. So I think, to be honest with you, since Riley didn't get the fair start last year, because of the injuries, let him start since he's doing good and can't let him get the rest of these reps. and then let Tyler Suggs prepare and just sit there and watch on the sidelines from the NFL level and watch. Because remember what Drew Brees said? He was always a starter. And you remember when he was hurt and injured for those 5 weeks with Teddy Bridgewater, he said he seen the game differently than what he was because he was always on the field instead of on the sidelines. So like you can learn a lot of stuff just standing on the sidelines and just watching. You can pick stuff out. So trust me, we got a lot of stuff to talk about with Ross on Friday, because we got to catch up. I got to ask him about how does he feel being called shut up baldied. I want to know how he thinks about that with the comedian messing with him. That's probably why he's got his picture like that on his Twitter now with him putting his hand over his bald head. But with that being said, y'all, I appreciate everybody that tuned in tonight. Make sure y'all hit that like button on your way out. Hit the subscribe button if you are new. And also hit the share button to share this post out to those who who are New Orleans Saints fan, bring them in. Because once Saints season comes, man, this place is going to be rocking up in here, and you're going to have all these other Saints, content creators as well. You're going to have Big Q. You're going to have TJ, my boy B&G Breakdown, who's in here. Real Fan Sports, Dolph, with his, Keeping It Real podcast. You're going to have so many different podcasts on. So make sure y'all go follow everybody. And, and let's get ready for some football, because tomorrow, y'all, first preseason games, it's going to be a fun one, to watch. I'm ready to see some more football. I'm ready to see what people do. And we'll see how Trey Lance does for the first time in a while, because he was a first-round pick, and it sounded like he was a bust to everybody. But I heard with the Chargers on the Harbaugh, he looks pretty good. I heard, now he's not going to be good enough to beat Justin Herbert, but, he's going to be, pretty decent. But with that being said, if y'all don't know Logan, tell them how they can follow you on Twitter and all.
So you can find me on Twitter, which I can't believe I don't have my Twitter name in my name tonight. That's a first. But you can find me on Twitter at TheSoulMan57, Soul spelled SOUL, and I'm on Facebook. Just search my name. I'm not hard. I'm like Dion. I'm not hard to find. I ain't hard to find.
I'm really not hard to find. I'm big and easy to find. I'm an easy target. But
I'm running.
But with that being said, y'all make sure y'all go follow him for all the good news, breaking news, and he always gonna run his thoughts on Twitter as well. What he thinks on everything. So make sure you go follow that, and then last but not least, like I said earlier, hit the subscribe button and hit that like button on y'all way out. Logan, thanks again for coming on like always, brother. It's always a blast, talking to you, being able to talk football and all that, and we'll see everybody again very soon on Friday, most likely with Ross Jackson, unless something changes. But Ross Jackson said he should be good to come Friday because there's no practice Friday. They had their off day Friday, so he should be good to come on. But with that being said, Logan, we always tell everybody, who what?
Who that?
You heard him, who that? And we'll be back Friday with Mr. Ross Jackson and my guy, Logan. Who that, baby?
Run it up, Finero. Say what they lie. Say what they lie. Say what they lie. Say what they lie. We screaming black and gold. We screaming black and gold. We screaming black and gold. We going to the bowl. We screaming black and gold. We screaming black and gold. We screaming black and gold. Saints going to the Super Bowl, talking black and gold. Young Nolan Hooded Jew wanna beat me like Chris Alive, AMT down the field.